Cue the show. Should be live now.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Let's get on code.
Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Facts. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to get on code.
I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. As I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation.
Please like, share, subscribe. We're live. We're live.
Don't let anybody take your manhood.
Facts. You heard that?
Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black.
That's what
It's
Malcolm said.
always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure. High.
Pink. Pink. Yeah, buddy.
But I want to get the language right tonight.
Facts.
I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
Facts. Big show tonight. Let's get on code. What is the code? Code. What you talking? I ain't got no code. I took the flu shot. What you talking about? Code. Oh, this nigga in here talking about that pro-black shit again. Hand me my pills and my lean. Where my lean and my pills and my Gucci bag at? This nigga in here talking that build a community shit again, and y'all just sit there and let it happen. Everybody. Man. Excuse my language. For the meek. Man. The nonsense is gonna stop people. We don't care what sex you are. Stop the nonsense. Can't stop the violence until we stop the nonsense, people. Gotta get on code.
Silence is violence, and evil's greatest ally. Those who turn a blind eye act like they don't know why. Say the police would not use such behavior. If you white, you right and have favor. But if you black, bodies pile high. Sight unseen, right in front of your face on the video screen, know what I mean? Popo lie. Fear for their life from an unarmed man. I guess he felt melanin was his weapon. They killed.
Nigga, get your hand out my pocket.
Get no charges and go free. So we need to be on our P's and Q's. Don't play no fool. The rules ain't fair. Life ain't no crystal stair. So we best prepare. Our little people, if you see something, say something.
12, 12.
Show the world we do care. So beware. Silence is violence. Get you a trip to the devil's den.
Self love, you done did it again, Loop. You a genius.
Right. Brother,
I'm wiping it though. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother. Between us, Tori made me at Beta, and so he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. Grateful. You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Luv Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man,
It's apropos that you are the first recipient.
And Noop, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we have it on order. So it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
Get it, like, share, subscribe. Let's get it. We are in the building.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want.
last
You
chance.
take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Plain everyday truth. They love the truth. When it shines warmly over. Yeah. Where those Chicago kids at production?
I'm just a kid from
Sir.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So what's going on in your neck of the universe today, bruh?
Well, it was in the 50s today. Low supposed to be 40s. I don't think it got there yet. Sunny. It was very crazy because it was like it's gonna rain or something, but it didn't do none of that. But it did not heat up either.
Wait, what's that, bro?
It didn't heat up either, though.
Yeah, I know yesterday you were saying it was like 48. So what, it's still down there?
Yeah, the low was supposed to be 45, but it felt like it was about 56 or something like that today.
Wow. Well, today, you may, see Self Love and I doing this. We may be saying things like don't answer questions, question everything. You even hear Self Love quite frequently say, get on code. We got to get on code. Y'all got to shut the fuck. Take a big cup of this and that and the other, right?
Yeah.
And Self Love and I will watch certain podcasters and news and we'll be disgusted. It's not that what they may be saying is not true, right? It's just way off code. It's way off. Yeah.
Be saying it to the person and not to some commentator that's not even part of our community.
Yes. With any kind of balance to add to it, right? Right. If they're playing devil's advocate and you're from the community, you better play the other side then. I mean, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, teach his own, Yeah. But so we're gonna actually unpack what code, people say get on code, then others say what code. And then we're gonna unpack or unravel what is it, where did it stem from? And see if we can amend something here as to what our code for Silverdale could quite possibly become.
Facts.
Yeah. And that being said, that's what we have in store for you. And we want this to be interactive. We've actually constructed a fluid code that's based off of, you may have seen some things in the 10 Commandments and different holy books. You may have seen some things from different gang or street organizations and Black Panthers and just different things, Tupac and different people who have come up with structures and the Moor growth and development program, maybe different things. And what Self Love and I tried to do is, find the analytics, find something that worked, for us. And then we're going to, of course, open it up to you all and take any suggestions and tweak it. And then we're going to review this show from a time-to-time basis to see if we can come up with something that can't work for everyone, something that, we can all educate our children, etc., so that we're all in alignment. So the announcements, T-shirts. I'm giving myself a 1-week deadline to produce T-shirts. So today is Wednesday. So my deadline is Wednesday. It's my word on the T-shirts because I am greater than my excuse. Mouthpiece included. We're still casting for tomorrow. We're looking for Silverbacks. Our topic is going to be the fashion behind the sports game. Why we come out there and get drafted and then wear Nike and, Under Armour and promote, Mercedes-Benz, how can we use these platforms to benefit our communities and why we don't do it? Also, we've got the kid from Chicago himself. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Yes, sir. Our theme song here. The kid from Chicago will be in the building on Wednesday. Self Love and I are looking forward to that. So if there are any activists and if you got any thing out there in the chat, if you have any input on this code, you can call in, you can text. The number is 424-900-6945. That number is 100%
troll free.
That's right, 100% troll free. And then trolls do get holes. So if you know my 773 number, feel free to dial that one as well. That'll get you online. We want to hear your commentary, anything that we may have missed that you feel, hey, that needs to be on the code, now or never, okay? Or hey, you guys need to take that off of there, or things of that nature. You can utilize the chat as well, but if you want to sit there like a lummox, we say violence is violence, silence is violence, but if you want to continue to sit there, on lummox, and then as things get done and made around you, just, it's terrible what they did. You just sit there like a lummox and enjoy the show, right, Self?
Yeah. At least hit the thumbs up and share, you know what I mean? Like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know, we are growing this organically, and I need you to subscribe if you haven't. If you have, thank you. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up right now. When you subscribe, hit the bell and share the like minds. That's of the utmost importance so we can build the self-love nation. And part of that is going to be on code. So it's a great show we're about to have right now. The Self Love Show quote of the day: do not call the forest that shelters you a jungle. Do not call the forest that shelters you a jungle. It's an African proverb. As usual, we got a little housekeeping to take care of, and then two very, very important videos that we are building the self-love nation off of, and you will be right privy to it in just a second.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show.
to put,
Like, share,
quote,
subscribe.
new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37.
Talk about the code.
If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be cleared and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Love Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
Get on code. What are you talking about, get on code?
Silverback Moor Growth and Development Platform. Number one, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silverback. Number two, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And three, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
Absolutely. Oh, geez. Yeah. We gotta close the gap. The deplorable. Close the gap. Close the gap. Close the gap. Yeah, we had a pretty magnanimous show yesterday. We sat here and unpacked. We did a thought experiment on the what was it? The toxic masculinity and the hyper. Yeah.
Great show. I mean, great conversation. Like I unpacked. Man,
Yeah.
you should go and check it out. If you weren't here yesterday live, you need to check it out.
I'll tell you what, I didn't think I was going to be walking on eggshells, but I'll tell you what, self-love wasn't, and nor was the chat, nor was anyone else. So, you know, hey, big ups.
We switched spots yesterday, huh?
Hey, as long as it got unpacked, I guess it doesn't matter who did the unpacking, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And, you know, some people have more riding on this than other people. I mean, we all do. You know, it takes a community. It takes a tribe. But, you know, some people got more riding on what's going on in the future out here. Out there.
Right out there. The little people out there that, that me and their mom, birthed out there. Gotta change some things out there.
Yeah, man. So if you all haven't had a chance to check that out, it was yesterday's show, and you go on to TATN, and if you go into the playlist, you can scroll under the Self Luv Show, and it's under a playlist tagged complete episodes or full episodes, and then you can scroll through there and you can find it. Yeah. Also, yo, I see our club out there. Stay Stew said, "What up, fools?" and "What up, Noop?" Yo. Yes, sir. And it looks like Ace made it back from lost wages. I wonder if he still got his shirt.
I'm sure he's got his shirt.
Wait a minute. He said late night flight, then work today.
Yeah, he's crashing out there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, we understand, fool. Somebody's got to pay the bills.
Man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, happy belated birthday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so make sure you cats are out there hitting that thumbs up as we start getting into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what's that, Noop?
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell so we can't fail. We got to work together. I need you to tell at least 3 like minds about the show.
Bro, did you see the video of the 12 and the librarian? Have you seen the video of 12 and the librarian?
Nah, I stay unplugged, so.
Yeah, well, we got something drummed up for you. 12.
Now some upsetting body cam video of a 68-year-old librarian being pulled over by cops and cuffed on the side of the road. Now she's suing because of the rough way she says she was treated. Les Trent tells what happened.
It's the heart-pounding moment cops yank a grandmother from her car by her hair. Stephanie Bottom is hauled out of the vehicle and handcuffed on the side of the highway.
Why are you doing this to me? 10 miles. I haven't running. I was just driving. Go to jail now.
The 68-year-old woman is a librarian in the Atlanta Public Library System.
Wow.
She pleads
how
for
dangerous
help,
those
saying
librarians
she has
are.
an injured shoulder.
They did a white lady like that.
My shoulder
man.
I have a turn ligament.
She had Alzheimer's.
There's something going on.
Help me.
My screen.
The grandmother
I see all that gray all over the screen too, but it's
when she
rolling.
was charged with going 80 in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. She says by the time she realized she was being pursued by police, it took a while before she could find a safe place to pull over. When she finally came to a stop, she says cops rushed towards her with guns drawn.
Refuse to stop for law enforcement. I didn't know you guys was chasing after me. I was listening to my music. Can I call my family, please? Not right now. No, ma'am.
Once you see it's an old lady, why you
happened
slamming
in
her on the ground?
2019 in Salisbury, North
they don't see us
Carolina,
as people.
but the video has just been
Bro, they
released
did it to a white
after
lady,
she
man.
sued the officers, claiming excessive
She was old and
force.
frail, and they like broke
The
her
police
arm.
department is not commenting. Ms. Bottom pleaded guilty to failing to heed blue lights, but charges against her for speeding and resisting arrest were dismissed.
Now, in that case, yes. But I'm saying they're doing it like the SS. They are literally like the Gestapo, bro. It was a lady like with same week this happened, Self, Alzheimer's, bro, turned out. And she was literally out there lost. Like, what are the police doing? Roughed her up. She's like, she's an old lady with Alzheimer's. She don't know what they're doing. These men are just grabbing her and trying to throw her in cuffs and demanding and shouting. And he broke her. Man, she was so frail. And man, wow.
It has to stop.
Man.
It has to, man. And, we've got to stop it because it's unacceptable.
I tell you what, I Ubered an old, elderly Jewish lady about 6 years ago, and she told me, she said she was about in her 90s. She said, this is just how the SS got it cranked up. Said, this is just how it starts. They start with the handicapped. You start seeing that, the disenfranchised, the racism, the this and that, and then it just starts coming up the echelon. Yeah. Where will it stop? 12, at some point, your Baphomet's going to tell you to start popping yourself, aren't they?
I mean, period.
Yeah, at some point, once you kill off all of everybody else, guess what? You're expendable. 12.
At the high rate that at least the Chicago police are killing themselves, man, it's crazy. So
yeah,
it's already telling them to do it.
Yeah, 12. You just consider that 12, right? Yeah. So just something to consider. And that's for the 12. We're not talking about the people who are out there adhering to their oath.
Yes.
Yes. We're not, those putting their, lives on the line and lives on the line at risk of never seeing their family again. We're not referring to them, are we, Self?
No.
No.
Not at all.
No. But, it's Self, man. Enough of the appetizers. I think, we're all here to unravel the code.
Well, let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
That is factual. So, before we go into a video, we have set up the code. Do we have any idea? Like, I would imagine, Self, maybe when we were all thrown into that pot during chattel slavery, we had to come up with something that worked for everyone on the plantation.
Well, not everyone, but who worked with the people who were down.
Correct.
Because there were some that, they
weren't going to be on code.
And they were never going to get on code.
They were always working for the system.
Yes.
Correct.
We sick, master? We sick, sir? Why we sick?
Master Tory Wordsmith's out in the back talking real fancy to everybody. He talking real fancy, telling them they got rights. No, thank you, Jim Bob. Go get you a big piece of that chicken over there. You know what I mean? And the beef.
Yes, sir.
He's a good boy.
Yes, sir.
He's a good boy. Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, we're kind of asking, I didn't get any research. I don't have any receipts on the code. So I would also ask the elders, that this come up, after, I would think even during Reconstruction, quite possibly Self. I know we had codes in our different African indigenous places, whether we were here or there, wherever we are. Each culture is going to have its own code. But the code that we know, the foundational code that's kind of a wink, wink that nobody ever really talks about, you kind of just know it, don't you, Self? It's certain things your parents and your family are saying to you, and pretty soon you know the code.
For the most part.
Yeah.
It still can be adjusted in most of us because, it's still subjective and it's coming from our parents instead of from the same source. You know what I mean?
Correct. Do you think white folk have a code?
Yes.
Who do you think would be better at adhering at their code? I'll answer that. White folks, hands down.
Yeah. And they break from the code too, though. They break from their code. They help us and historically have helped us in all of these things that we've done. So that wasn't on code. That wasn't on the white code anyway.
Very true. Mm-hmm. Very true. Can't argue that. All right, so we're unraveling the code, and if anyone, again, in the chat, if you know, if you have reason to believe you know the source of the code, some say Africa, some have said the plantation, some have said Reconstruction, some have said during the civil rights movement. Ace said he lost $5. Well, all right, I lost $40, Ace, so, not too bad. All right, so, all right, here we go. And I'm sure you made that $5 up with drinks, you know what I mean, in the casino. I had a Corona. So all right. So I digress. Let's see here. The code. All right. Yep. Okay. So there's something in the chat. Like, share, subscribe. So Self, let's go ahead and production, if you can get into, we have a video here from the New York Times, why I won't teach my son the codes. Kind of when I was asking you during yesterday's show, Self, when do you talk to these kids and why not? And is it demeaning? You know what I mean?
In my old neighborhood, and you can hear the swings, like when the wind is blowing.
Demeaning?
I would hear the sirens going past late at night.
Great stuff again.
You can literally go down for blocks and see abandoned buildings, vacant lots, lined with churches.
Spooky.
There would be young men on the back deck. It always made me feel really concerned, like getting in and out of my car. Are they watching when I leave and when I come back? It's not like the young man I see standing on the bus stop catching the bus to school or in their football uniforms.
So you're thinking,
I'm like, that's going to be my young boy.
When will my son be that Negro?
I was just so shocked when I
saw
him.
More great stuff.
With his little hands and his head full of hair.
I know. I don't know what.
But I knew that reality was now in full effect. This is it. Now let's start getting to work.
Guess I shouldn't have updated the Zoom, huh?
I read about raising successful black boys. Keep them busy. Know their friends. Feed them well. Be a 2-parent family home. I've asked a lot of single mothers whom I knew, how do they raise successful black boys? And they give me the same advice. Keep him busy, know his friends, and surround him with good examples. I never like to talk of the things that I'm afraid of for him. I really only like to talk about the things that it is that I want for him.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing, bro.
I want him to be free.
I think that's the problem.
To be himself. To walk down the street and not be
we all
stopped
want
and
that.
frisked. Or to be shot. And I don't know what I can do to prevent that.
You can prepare him.
I don't want to teach him these black codes. I feel like I'm up against systems that are in place to be oppressive to black boys, to black people. A lack of opportunity and resources for these young children to be maneuvered into so that then their worldview and their perspective is broader than the 4-block radius of where they grew up. He's 1 year old right now, so he has at least maybe till he's 8, 7, before someone sees him as a big black boy.
Mm-hmm. So 8. That's a shame.
I read to him every night. The day I brought him home from the hospital, I was reading to him. His room is full of colors. It engages their mind and vision. I got the whole thing, quote unquote, planned out. I hope when people see my son, they see a young man who is about something, who's doing something with his life. I want them to be able to see him and pass him easily. They're not fearing him, but they feel, safe.
I want them to see every black boy that way, not just my son.
Another young boy. And that is how I wish that society would look at all of our young boys.
And thank you. And does her son have a father? She keeps saying my son.
I have this one vision.
yesterday's show.
But he'll be even better than that.
I told you they're in alignment, though.
I believe that. I hope for that.
It's all code related.
Facts.
Conception. Yeah, so great job, production. So one thing I would say, Self, is that when she said she was that was very well done. First off, solutions. I feel as though when you break that down to a child, if you're raising your child the whole time, they shouldn't be blindsided if you're raising them and bringing them along a little bit with this information, just so their eyes can start opening up. And then the conversation should be solution based, That's why, and then you're showing evidence, and that's why your dad always, you see me go out of my way to go buy at places with people who look like me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why when your dad was telling you to spend your money here and let's go find somebody. And that's why, and then they start realizing that it's not all a prison, it's a freedom when you get ownership over slave ship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the way we have to
approach
operate.
That. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we say, consider, finding a beautiful woman within our community to marry, but we'll love you no matter who you marry if they're down, you know what I'm saying? But that's why we say that, not for, any prejudice or, racist reasons,
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing to be having a fight with your spouse. It's another thing when N-bombs and stuff start being dropped, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? When there's a racial undertone to it all. So yeah, you got anything else to say on that, Self, about that video?
Disgusting. We got to do away with that type of behavior. That's unacceptable. Period. Those people should no longer be public service people. Period. None of them that did any of that.
Facts. Dude White said he has nephews and nieces. He said their dads need to see this. That's right. Send them that link. It's a free ticket, ain't it, Self?
Yeah. That's right.
That's right. They get a free ticket to the Self Luv Show. And you all have to realize, just because they miss it live, if you send them the link,
same link.
Yeah, whenever they click it, they can watch it. Just won't be live. That's all. They can even see the chat and everything, right, Self?
Yes.
Some of us aren't very YouTube savvy or social media savvy. We'll all get there.
For sure we will.
Yeah. We'll all get there. So, so now that's why I was asking you yesterday, Self, about, had you approached that and, you know what I mean? Because I had seen that video,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And like I said yesterday, I didn't want to have this conversation, but when 45 got in office, my son was literally scared because of all of the stuff, the fear mongering that had been going on in the media. And so we had to have that discussion. I mean, what else can we do out there?
Yeah. When I rewatched yesterday's show, I cut you off when you started talking about this 45. Well, do you remember what was it specific? When I hear 45, Donald Trump, I just actually just going because just sick of him.
Right.
But do you remember like what it was specifically, and did that make both your son and your daughter, or was it just him? Like, what was it? How did he come at you? How did that come up? Do you remember?
My daughter doesn't speak much about stuff like that, or she keeps most of that stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
My son was kind of terrified because he was like, they made a racist the president.
Wow.
That was his whole thing. He's like, I'm not sure, all this stuff happening with people getting killed and all this, but now we have an open racist as president, and it was a tough conversation. I let him know that, all the presidents are racist. He's just like more vocal.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff that happens from the president doesn't completely affect our daily lives, and you don't have to be scared or have fear. Concern is okay, but fear is not. And you gotta figure out how we're gonna move around it. You know.
Right. And that's got to be weird for you to even try to answer that. I mean, we've always had racist, son. I think all of them are racist except maybe Barack Obama. I mean, son, I hate to just bust this bubble like that, but open racist like that. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. Because like we were able to, we got gradually to that point. Oh, you mean tell me they've all been racist?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They've almost all been cake. When you go back in history. Yeah. And you said, right.
In some ways, though,
they all own slaves.
He was good. He was good for, because these younger people were acting like there's no racism. You know what I mean? They're acting like it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. We were old fashioned for even bringing it up or suggesting it.
Man, crazy. Oh, that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got black senators and black this and black that.
Yeah, the last 8 years we had a black president. So, yeah.
What are you talking about? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man. It's not about all that.
That's a great point. Well, as I said at the top, you guys, we're going to start unpacking this code that we're working on right now. We kind of, dug into like, the Panthers program, Tupac, he had a program for Thug Life.
Yeah.
Self Love and I, we put together the Moor GD program. That's Moor Growth and Development. We dug into, of course, the Holy Bible, the Big Ten, 10 Commandments. Life lessons, lessons, not lectures. Lessons.
Period.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is unpack the first few points of the code. Now, we're going to list them from, there's 25 points, and we're going to list them from I don't want to say least important, because this was really hard to do, because they're all intertwined, if you know what I mean, self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one thing, if you're doing one thing, if you're doing the foundational ones at the top, everything else will fall into place. But for the sake of having it spelled out, so we have 25 of these that have been produced. So number 25, it's a double bubble. It's know your rights / assert your rights. Yeah, so this is a Silverback creed. Know your rights and assert your rights. That way, you're not just sitting around, being a victim. So it's important to know your rights. And if you feel like your rights are being violated, flex your rights. Now, we have ways in this code. If you're moving according to the code, you'll flex your rights in a respectful and an honorable way, and so on and so forth. So, know your rights, opt into the information, flex your rights. And then so for the number 24, and this is kind of for men and for women, and this is for my men out here. But again, this is applicable to both. But this one is for my men out here. Be brave. Be brave. Be courageous. And just think about this code. We're going to start with number 25. Know your rights / assert your rights. Flex your rights. Your rights are like muscles. If you don't use them, they atrophy. Okay? You're a representative of all of us. So if you're running around not flexing your rights, then they think they can roll up on everybody. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be someone who doesn't even know their rights. Nevertheless, dare to flex them. Be brave. Be a silverback. Number 23, be accountable. What is done in the dark will be illuminated. Hold yourself accountable. Number 25, know your rights, assert your rights. Number 24, be brave, be a silverback, be courageous. Number 23, be accountable. Hold yourself accountable and those around you accountable. Self-love. So we're going to unpack those 3 there. Any commentary on those bottom 3 that we have listed here? And we're looking for any feedback from the chat as well.
They're important. And if, we do that as a collective, we'll be moving in the right direction.
Facts. All right. And so now these are kind of in no particular order, but they are, you guys. And so we're going to keep pushing forward. Be active, self-love. Participate, be active, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
Correct. If there's a fundraiser going on in the street, if someone's passing out chickens and turkeys, and get out there and see if you can help pass out chickens and turkeys or clean up or something like that. You'll feel good. You'll meet people with like minds, right? Yeah. Get active. Participate. Get in the game. All right. Number 21, be honest. Yeah.
Very important.
Did your ancestors used to tell yourself and your elders, you ain't lying to nobody but who?
Yourself.
One more time. You ain't lying to nobody but who?
Yourself.
Tell me the OGs, the old grandmothers and the grandfathers wasn't running that on you.
They wasn't asking no questions they ain't already know the answer to. So that was the whole thing.
Yes. They had lived it. They had been there, done that.
What did you? Oh, come on, man.
And they're telling you, by not wax on and waxing off, you ain't cheating nobody but what?
Yourself.
Yeah. And that's wisdom. That comes from wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So then now we're going to roll into number 20. And Stace Dude said, please do send that link and one to this one too. I think he doesn't understand it. So you got to do is click share.
And copy link.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to copy it. Once you click share, it gives you all these wonderful options. You could share by text, share by email. Now, or you could copy it if that's easier for you. But that's an extra step, just depending. Yeah. But no, you're right. It's going to be copy if he's on his computer. If he's on his cell phone, it's probably going to be easier just to share the link. Yeah. So, all right. Now, here's one, Self. Pay your brother/sister fairly. We had to talk about this on Greater Beta TV today. It's okay to want to get a deal and, not get screwed. But come on.
Yeah.
Huh?
Man, for us to rotate the money, we've got to rotate it. Like,
come on, Self.
Can't try to shortcut and, undercut people's pricing. Understand that you don't want to get screwed, but there's a fair place where both parties can get what you want done and they get the money for doing it.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And it also I think charge should be right in there with that.
And as more of us get off of the slave ships and get into ownership, we're gonna automatically understand its principle. You know what I mean? It's tough to respect that principle of recycling that dollar when you don't own when you're not in the market. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I could do business with Self Love and say, hey, here you go. And then the next time you need such and such, you know what I mean? You know, come here and you know what I mean? And then he'll do that. Or having his Rolodex. And God forbid, if he had an emergency that I can help him with, you know, boom. You know, that's in my wheelhouse. He'll use my service. And that's why we have to, you know, be in the game, which is part of the code, but it's, you know, up ahead, obviously. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ownership.
Pay a fair price. Pay a fair price and charge a fair price.
Correct. Charge and pay your brother/sister fairly. Yes. Correct. Whether it's an employee, right? Fairly. Oh, I think we got booger balls. Oh boy. Let's see. Are you guys getting me? Mic check. Tori, am I on here or am I disconnected? You can't hear me. I think I'm disconnected. No. I think we lost Tori. All right. I think we've lost Tori. I'm still here. Okay. All right. So I'll stop his video. That's Tori we lost. All right. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap. We're breaking down this code that's been constructed. We constructed it from, you know, looking at several sources, listening to several individuals, several activists, things of that nature. We looked for a singularity, and then so we came up with this. So there's 25 points of light. So there's going to be 25 tenets to this code of, I would say, conduct, so to speak. So number 25 is know or learn your rights and assert your rights. So if you already know your rights, you have to assert them. You can't assert rights that you don't know. Okay. It's pointless to know your rights if you don't assert them. Number 24, be brave, be a silverback. Number 23, be accountable. Number 22, be active, participate in the community. That would be parent-teacher conferences. You know, after a blizzard, get out there, help people shovel snow, pick up paper, be active. You know, participate in a charity that's going on in the community. Start some charities. Number 21, you want to be honest. Honesty starts at home. It starts with self. Number 20, charge and pay your brother/sister fairly. So obviously somewhere up in this list, we're going to recycle our money. And so as we're recycling our money, you know, pay a fair price for what you're looking to get done. You know, many of us, we have champagne taste, and then we expect, you know, a brother to come by and do it at St. Ides or malt liquor prices. Yeah, and we're talking about, you know, people with licenses and insurance and reputable businesses, you know. Yeah. All right. Number 19. We're going to support businesses that service our community. So this is next on the list. Supporting businesses that that are connected to our community. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, that doesn't necessarily have to be a Black-owned business, but that's where we start, right? Obviously, I would go to the corporate businesses within my community last if I had another option. However, I would go to a corporate business within my community as opposed to one that's outside of my community. There's different factors for me, but I don't, you know, we can get into the minutia. You know, are they hiring minorities? You know, when I walk in, do they hire Black folks? You know, those things. But
Are they supporting our community in other ways? You know, are they breaking bread? Are they writing checks? So that's where we need to vote. We need to vote with our dollars, and we need to be very serious about that. So we want to start by supporting the Black businesses that service our community. And then from there, any business that services our community. And then we'll stop in this segment after this final one, which is start businesses that service your community. Okay. So to do those in order, you want to start a business that services your community. We need to support those businesses that service our community. We need to charge and pay our brothers and sisters fairly for doing those businesses that support our community. We need to be honest in the course of, doing business with one another and also engaging in the social arena. We want to be active and participate. We need to be seen. If we're out there, it'd be more difficult for the big Baphomet to come drop off guns and crack in the community. We need to be accountable, right? We need to be accountable. Also, we need to hold those around us accountable to these standards. We need to be brave. See, you'll have to be brave to be holding yourself accountable and to be holding others accountable. Okay. Silverback. All righty. And then also, of course, you want to, be able to assert your rights. So let's see where we are here. 1 second. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would be the bottom 8 of our 25 code program that we've constructed. So this would be something that I would, repeat over and over almost as a mantra, so to speak, because repetition makes recognition. So let's see, we unraveled the bottom third of the code. And again, the code we're making is from the Black Panthers, Tupac's Thug Life program, the Moor Growth and Development program, the Holy Bible, life lessons in general, things from our ancestors, elders, etc. Could be from church, Christian churches, other religious orders. And then, so we went through the first portion. Also, please like, share, subscribe, like, share, and subscribe. And let's see here. Let's get, what do you call that? I'm going to get production going. And you guys, the phone lines are open. It's 424-900-6945. That number is troll free. That number again is 424-900-6945. And standard rates and messaging, shall apply. Trolls get holes around here. So we definitely would love to hear your input, things you think are important as we move through the code that we're constructing. In the meantime, if you can hit that thumbs up, it tricks the algorithm. Like, share, subscribe. It's free. If you click on the share link, you can share it via text, via email. And if this content is working for you, more than likely it may work for others. So today is the 5th. All righty. So let's get this going here. I have to share my screen. Okay, there we go. Post attendees, Zoom Cloud, Zoom live streaming. It's got to be this. That is not it. Okay. There we go. We want to share this. Perfect. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Black codes. Okay, everybody, it is halftime. We're going to jump into halftime, and then when we come back, we are going to break down the remainder of the code. Please enjoy this video put together by TATN entitled LeBron James is Scared. Kind of along the lines of code. Just waiting for the old internet to get itself warmed up. James, with all due respect. Okay, let's take this back. Okay, there we go.
What are you looking at, slave?
People get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as a black people. People get tired of hearing me say it, but we are scared as a black people. Black men, black women, black kids, we are terrified. Because you don't know. You have no idea. You have no idea how that cop that day left the house. You don't know if he woke up on the good side of the bed. You don't know if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You don't know if he had an argument at home with a significant other. You know, if one of his kids said something crazy to him and he left the house steaming. Or maybe he just left the house saying that today is going to be the end for one of these black people. And why does it always have to get to a point where we see the guns firing and his family is there, the kids are there, it's in broad daylight, and it's this through the grace of God that he's still living. Like 7 shots, close range, and he's still alive. That's through the grace of God right there.
James, if it's not enough that I've had to listen to you essentially call yourself the GOAT, take low-key shots at money, as my big little homie, with all due respect, you, Doc Rivers, these other NBA man, woman, and child is afraid. You may be afraid. Your family may be afraid. All of your
Man, I thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format, very solid. You know, it don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the black community, for real. Yeah. Like people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro,
they're so ignorant. So
hey, but this platform's your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made.
The crazy
thing that established this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble. Go ahead. Yes, sir. Anywhere. 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 Yeah, buddy. We unpacking the code. We got Booger Balls doing his Doug Tizzle. That's Murphy Law. Jumping all on us. Because we're unpacking a code here. So, of course, Booger's going to jump all over us. Right now, seems like he's all up into Brother Wordsmith's system. I go. But we still, the Self Luv Show shall go on, right? With or without Tory Wordsmith, with or without nine Mills, with or without TATN. It'll be gravy with you, right? But it's going down with or without you. It's just a matter of when they start passing out reparations checks, may not be in our generation, our lifetime, but somebody will look into history and say, well, you know, what did my granddad do? You know, with that loudmouth sunglasses wearing SOB, what did he do, right? What did you do, right? Nobody cares how much football you watched. Nobody cares how much football you watched. How much Shark Tank. You know, I was killing time to see if Self Love's thing could get ready, but I guess as we say back on the block, you on your own, Sammy. Rest up to my nephew, Sammy. Classic. Anywhere. All right, so let's jump back into unpacking the code. And as Self Love said earlier, today's quote of the day: do not call the forest that shelters you a jungle. Quite frequently, you'll hear Tory Wordsmith and I say, do not call the community that shelters you a hood or a crap hole or a dump. All right. You know, especially if you're not out there doing anything to improve it, especially if you're out there just walking over all the garbage, you know, just walking right past it, and you aren't doing a single solitary thing to improve it. Looks like Self Love is still having some trouble here. That's interesting. So, let's see. So we're going to jump back into unpacking the code. I think we kind of got into where it came from, you know, its possible origins. We touched on, here's Self Love. Let me make him a co-host because they'll boot me next. Some sort of game with booger balls. Mic check.
Okay.
Yeah, remember that happened to me, Self? I
Man.
remember? Yes. They took you through the whole thing, didn't they? Oh, they took you through it. Yeah.
Man. Yeah. Like it's saying, okay, you're joining. And I'm sitting there and it's just spinning. And it's spinning. And then it's spinning. And then Booger said, nope, not yet.
Bro, it's like being a G and you locked out of the session. That's literally how it feels, bro. You know what I mean? Like you can't get in the house. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man. But hey, but we're back.
Yes.
And yes, sir. So so we're I guess kind of calling these the Silverdale codes. Okay. So before we go into, you know, like talking about entertainers as leaders, you know, because, you know, they do have a large platform. I think I like them more as influencers, but if they're leaders, they're leaders. If they're leaders who happen to be entertainers, then fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's disingenuous to, you know, separate the two sometimes, but
they've got huge influence. So, you know what I mean? That's what really, you know. And some of them are on code, lot of them are not. That's, probably the issue.
Correct. And if someone has 200,000 followers, then obviously that's some sort of a leader, correct?
I don't hear you because
May not be a leader that's on code, but
right.
I mean, if an influencer has 300,000 followers, and they literally use the term follower, then apparently that person's a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those speaking of not being on code. That's
Correct. They may not be, or they may or may not be on code. They may be leading their people to prison or through the fire. You know what I'm saying? But they're leaders. But so what we did, we unpacked, learn and assert your rights, be brave / be a silverback, hold yourself accountable and those around you accountable to the code, be active, participate, be honest to yourself and to others, pay and charge your brother or sister fairly for services rendered, support businesses that service our community, start businesses that service our community.
Yes.
So we haven't heard any, hubbub from anyone to say that, remove that. So now we're going to move into the next third. Recycle bread.
Yeah, I mean,
should that be part of the code of conduct? So
has to.
Yeah, because when we say code, like the only code we enforce is snitches get stitches. I mean, it's a code, but that's like the only code. That's like the only code and I haven't even written that on here, in fact. But that's because they bastardized that, and we But that's the only code that we know and follow. Oh, we'll follow that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the other stuff,
not all the way, but
you're right.
It's some that's walking around and nothing happened to, and then
yeah, they'll violate the code like breaking in an old lady's home and taking everything, and then if you see it, then they'll say, "Well, he snitched on him." That guy broke into the old defenseless lady. What are we doing here? Right? What kind of community are we running? Right?
Getting justice is not snitching. Period.
Especially when it's someone that is violating the code.
Period.
See, if they're off code, they're not part of the community.
Period.
We can't tolerate people being off code. And if the code is, leaving the innocent alone in our community, then now that's a whole nother show, because it goes back to if you don't, because, you can't call the police these days, but, you handle it, right?
Yeah.
Correct. You handle it. We say bullets are boomerangs.
Right.
You know what I mean? You get what you put out there. You know what I mean? Right. Snitches get stitches. All right. So if you're out there shooting, bullets are boomerangs. So, all right. But here we go. Let's go into this. So we said recycle the bread. Self agrees. It has to be there. Yes. Okay. Now here's one. Number 16 is improve yourself. Being a fractal. Be a fractal. Work to improve self and or your craft every day that you breathe on this planet. Because I believe the idle mind is a devil's workshop. And I believe if you were working diligently on your path, on your craft, if you were focused on that every day, no matter how old you are, being a fractal, constantly improving, it would lessen some of the F stuff that's going on in our communities.
Yeah. Facts. Well, got to figure out something for people that don't know what that is yet.
Correct.
And help them develop.
Well, if they don't know their craft, then there's still that self-improvement element, which will help them find their craft. But at least in the meantime, they're not just wandering the street, loitering, you know what I'm saying, throwing rocks at windows and stuff like that. That's where the self-improvement part will come into it. And they'll be with a cat like you with, and they'll just, they'll find that, in the meantime, they'll have work. You know what I mean? They'll have work until they find that, So yeah, you got to work, learn a craft. You can learn a craft even though it may not be what you want to do in life. Many a person has started out cutting hair and that's not what they wanted to do in life. Next thing you know, they own 6 barbershops. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that'll be something we'd have there. So either improve on yourself and or your craft every day, and we'll try to come up with X amount of time. And these are just
stuff that we feel like will work. Here's one. Vote reparations. Now, I was breaking down local and nationals, but I just left it alone. Vote reparations.
Facts.
Vote reparations. I looked at politics and I was thinking, self, you know, you remember we were bouncing this and like, I mean, seriously, there's nothing that all we're going to do is fight over politics. Somebody's calling this person a Tom and this person a this and that. Vote reparations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's simple. We can all hang our hat on that. Doesn't need debates. You know?
Yeah. If they're for reparations, they get a vote.
That's right.
If they're not, then they don't.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because everything else, they're going to pretend they're down for us anyway and make these programs. They're going to be bigotry as usual with or without us. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. They're going to ram their programs down our throat with or without us. So if they want our vote, vote yes on reparations. And that's through local and through all the way up the chain. But if you had to choose between voting local and federal, what would you tell themselves? Local.
Local.
Correct.
For sure.
Correct. All right. And then number 14, question everything, including the code. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of everything.
Wouldn't you want your son to question the code? They may find something in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts. If it can be better, it needs to be better.
Correct.
If it needs to serve a different community, you know, slightly, it needs to, you know what I mean?
Correct.
If it needs to serve the community slightly differently.
Correct. You know, and your son is a fractal. Anybody else is a fractal. You know what I mean? And they can find something and you know, that's why, you know, the Constitution has its amendments, right? You know, there's going to be things that happen that we can't anticipate. You know, 3,000 years from now, you know, these kids are like, wait a minute, we got to look at the code. All right. So, of course, I knew you would agree with question everything, including the code. And then, of course, number 13, lucky number 13 is do not answer questions outside the community. Just don't answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
how you feel about R. Kelly? I don't want to talk about it. I don't answer questions. Because their code, they're always trying to get a temperature of how we feel. Right?
Yeah.
It's none of their business. If they're not in our communities, right, Self, willing to be at the barbershop like everybody else, maybe at the club, willing to take that risk at the restaurant, and then they can have a conversation. But when they're in the safety of their corporations and in their neighborhoods and, you know, and hey, black man or woman, how do you feel about that? You hear about such and such? I don't answer questions, you know? Yeah. Not outside my community.
Makes sense because they chop up and put all kinds of stuff and make all kind of, you know, madness.
Correct. They use our words against us. Yeah. And we don't do that. We don't find, quote, alt-right people and start asking them about politics and how they feel about certain stuff. We don't really do that. If you really think hard about itself, that conversation is usually brought to you. And then they don't like your...
We're taught to not talk politics and religion and stuff, you know, in our community. Yeah. Well, not necessarily everybody in our community, but that's what I was, you know, we were taught, like.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and, you know, you for damn sure wasn't really trying to do it at the water cooler.
Man.
Yeah. They meet you at the water cooler, but they'll never come in your communities, but they feel safe right there to, you know, talk politics. And, you know, well, we're at a point where, you know, we don't answer questions. And that, you know, comes to 12 and everybody else. We just don't answer questions. Now, that's not to say that, you know, there won't be silverbacks in place and a trusted community and people that we talk to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm talking about outsiders and
outside
people
the community.
Fishing and trying to get some information on you.
Facts. Make up cases. Put cases on people, you know.
Type of, you know, effery.
Yeah. Yeah. Programming you too with the questions.
All right. Here we go, Self. You'll love this one. Number 12. Be respectful at all times.
Absolutely. Well, when you're being disrespected, guess you could respectfully whoop somebody ass.
Well, we're talking about within. That's why I said it's going to be the Silverdale codes. So we're talking about within Silverdale and within another Silverback. So you may have a Silverback that's following the code that's just having a bad whatever. You know what I mean? And we have to try to learn how to be respectful, even though we're defending ourselves and even though we're asserting our rights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is what we're going to train ourselves so that, you know, we have to know how to de-escalate. You know, it's easy for us to say 12 should de-escalate, and they should. They get paid to do it and blah, blah, blah. But we have to learn how to de-escalate. We don't de-escalate. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. And you guys like, share, subscribe.
Hit the bell. See where we at.
Yeah, let's get them in here. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in here. Let's see. Get them in here. Put that volume down there. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. So now, number 11. Oh, and to be respectful, of course, that starts with self-respect. That's why we got the Self Love Show. Most of it starts at home. Starts with self. You know. Yes. If you if you're respecting yourself, you're going to respect others 9 times out of 10. Yeah. Because you know the results of not respecting others, and it just ends up in a bad situation for everybody. And if you respect yourself, you wouldn't even put who through that? Yourself.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah. All right. Now, no gavel. Walk in his shoes or her shoes. So we could be talking about walk into the Messiah's shoes. We could be saying walk into your op's shoes. Any person you see that's in front of you. Walk in their shoes. Yeah. Simple. No gavels. Walk in their shoes. Put those gavels down. Yeah.
By no gavel, no judgment. You're not judging each other out there.
Yeah.
We're all having this human experience.
Yeah.
And
Lord knows
short.
Lord knows I'm guilty of it, of the judgments I'm talking about. And then so now, right. So it'd be like just like a society, if they hear me snitching, you know, like I said, we enforce that, don't we? Oh, you know, snitching, you know, and so the all these codes, like the judgments and stuff like that, needs to be enforced. You know what I mean? Put that gavel up. You know what I mean? And we check one another on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, we're all, you know, doing our best with what we feel like we're doing our best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and leave those gavels at home. And if you decide you want to walk out in the public, walk around Silverdale, where do they put those gavels, Self?
If they're going to take it out of your home, shove it right up your butt.
Yeah.
And that'll probably make you leave it at home.
Yeah. Some people want to be judgmental and they might like a gavel up their butt. In which case, now you're going to have a gavel up your butt and you're going to be thrown out of the city gates. You know, that's all. Now, that's down the line, though. We're talking long game. Probably won't be in my lifetime. Number 10, Self. Murder is suicide. End violence. Murder is suicide. Now, that's a principle we have to ram. It's one thing to say thou shalt not kill, right? People don't understand. No. Snitches get stitches, right? Bullets are boomerangs, right? Son, murder is suicide. Huh? People come up missing all the time in Silverdale. Yeah? Certain principles up in your subconscious since you're 4 or 5, 6 years old, Self. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're going to be thinking real hard about that murder. Real hard. murder trials here. You know, we just you know what I'm saying? Fictitiously, you know, we don't have that because we don't have murder, because we all understand that murder is suicide. Bullets are boomerangs. Yeah, I mean, you know, as a society, you know, seriously, who do you think you are that you're going to take this person's life? Now, we're not talking about, you know, self-defense, I mean, or certain heinous, and that's something that people talk about, community meetings, but that's a case by case again. Self said this yesterday, taking those outside, you know, incidences, you know, and using that, you know, we saw the movie A Time to Kill. We all saw that, didn't we, Self? We saw that. Yeah. Nobody would, you know, deny that. But then you're going to be talking to silverbacks, and you know what I mean? And that's a whole different situation. But nobody's the judge, the jury, and all in one city. No. It takes too much to produce life. Go ahead, Self. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I just said period. I was agreeing.
Yeah.
Factually.
Yeah. And then we'll do this last one before we close it out with the last segment. Actually, we'll stop here because then we'll end it with the top 9. Self. We're going to end it with the top 9. So, well, number 10 is murder is suicide. Stop the violence.
Stop the violence. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're going to find, you know, out there in the chat, if you do the top 9, if everyone does these top 9, the rest aren't even, it's minutia. Yeah. If we're doing the top 9, Self, the way we constructed this, there would be no need to say murder is suicide and end violence.
Yeah.
Correct. That's why it's where it is. And some people would think, well, it should be at the top of the list. Well, that's what I think our problem has been. You know, our problem has been, you know, always being at a point of desperation, right? You know what I mean? So look at all these roaches. We got to do something to kill these roaches. No, we have to realize these roaches are outside the wall, but the problem is coming from how they're getting in and the food all around the place and what's going on behind the wall. Right. And we have to start getting behind that wall, because eventually the roaches outside the wall are going to die anyway, whether it's old age or killing each other off.
Right. Once you lock it down.
Yeah. But we'd like to get those roaches outside the wall, the information, like that poison they came up with. Like, you know, the one roach gets it and then walks back behind the wall and mix up all the DNA of all the other. And that's Monsanto. You know, they're working on that. That might be this Peter Pan. All right. But yeah. But I'm saying they have, I'm saying we can use that in reverse, being we can feed the information, we can feed the code to those outside the wall, and in theory they'll go back and take this code behind the wall as well. You know, man, we went to Silverdale, and this is how they're living. You know, we asked everybody how they're doing this, and they just said they live by this code. You know, it's no magic. You know, they just live by this code. They all live by the code. They're all taught the code from the beginning. You know, that's it. They all just live by that code. They treat visitors with the same code, hold everybody to the same, you know, accountability. You know what I mean, Self? Yeah. You know, that's it. All right. So let's see where we are here. So we went over the second. Oh, I don't know if you're able, if production is able, but I wanted to get into Malcolm X. It's a 2-minute video by Black Cager on entertainers as leaders. He stayed on code. Can't hear it, I don't think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, volume's not on here. So production, if you can hear me, we're gonna have to run it back and actually cue the volume. You know what? I might be able to stop this. Let's see here. Stop participant sharing. And I will override that Malcolm X entertainers. Oh, whoa. Okay, y'all can't hear that.
or over the black
Let's
community
take this
by the
back.
white community. I told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor. Now, when you say that they also, in the same Newsweek poll magazine, they, I think the pollster said that he went into the Negro community and asked about the Muslims. And many Negroes whom he asked said, well, I never heard of the Muslims. Who are they? You know,
this is the rank and file we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Now, when they got down to the rank and file, this was
But Ray Lewis became an agent when he had that murder case.
The situation in Kenya during the Mau
he
Mau
lost his freedom.
uprising, when many whites in Kenya, Africa, would go among the Africans and ask them, what about the Mau Mau?
Oh, no, it ain't.
And the African would say, I never
No, I had
heard
to
that.
stop your share because there
And the
wasn't
same
no
white
volume.
man who would ask the African this
walked
question
away.
and very
So I had to
naively
stop sharing.
believed
Started.
what the
I'm
African
sharing.
said.
Oh, okay.
When he went to
All
bed
right,
that
gotcha.
night, he would lose his head. And usually the one who took his head
Signed
was
back
the same
in.
African who told him that afternoon he had never heard of the Mau Mau.
Except in the Newsweek poll, they used Negro interviewers.
You'll find that oftentimes Negroes are as much on guard around Negro interviewers who usually represent the bourgeois element of Negroes as they are on guard around whites. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him the information that they want him to take back to the white man, because that's who he's going to take it
Like
back
a roach. Oh, let me stop that share. So yeah, so
black labor.
Right, there we go. That was Malcolm X. Now, if you guys ever want to know about code, right?
Man,
I'm not sharing anymore, am I? No.
No.
Okay. Yeah. If you ever want to know about that, right? Yeah.
Code, boy. That dude lived by the code.
Way ahead of his time.
Yeah, once he got code, it was over with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he was off. He was definitely off the code when he was red, I guess. But he was ignorant. He was in the darkness.
Right.
Yeah. Hadn't come to the light.
Once he learned that code, he was, man, they couldn't believe they couldn't get nothing on him.
Nothing.
Following him everywhere.
Nothing. I mean, he lived it, walked it. Couldn't even poison him because the man only ate once a day. I mean, they could have, but it was going to be hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure he wasn't eating everywhere either, Self. I'm sure he wasn't stopping at every, Everybody wasn't cooking his food. Yep. Yep. Now, there were some black codes, Self. I'm sure you're familiar with the black codes.
Yeah.
White supremacy's black codes, they wrote and attached it pretty much wink, wink to the 13th Amendment. And they were codes that outlawed things like being unemployed, codes that outlawed things like homelessness. And then, yeah, they can force you back on a plantation or force you on a chain gang in prison because we didn't own anything and we didn't, have any land or any
made
job.
it illegal to be unemployed.
Yeah. And then told everybody don't hire them, right? So that then now we'll have the felony on them, right? And then they'll be slaves again on our plantation. It's exactly what happened. Wow. So those were the black codes. So then I would think that, our warriors, I compare warriors with thinkers, You know, they're in alignment. Erected our codes, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. So just if production wants to run this one, the Black Codes, I believe it's by Burt Brock Channel. Big ups. It's 3 minutes. And then Self Love and I are going to wrap up the remaining portion of our code.
Black laborers who insisted on better wages and working conditions were regularly met with
Here's that
threats
gray stuff
and
again, bro.
violence.
Yeah.
Know what that means?
Vigilantes lynched
It
whole
was actually
families
I saw it
and
when
used the
you did
bullet
it.
on men and
I didn't see it on my screen
as
when
they
I
had
did.
in slavery days.
I don't see it on my screen. I see it on the other screen.
Right.
In 1865, more than 2,000 black men, women, and children were reported murdered in Louisiana alone.
Did you hear that? They call us killers. They was just killing Negroes, bro.
The violence in the South was a way to reestablish white supremacy.
These gangs of whites pick out the guy who's trying to save his money, who's trying to get ahead. A man who is an inspiration to other black people in the community. He's the one that gets murdered. It amounts to systematic culling of alpha males from the black community.
Yeah.
The Southern legal system became an instrument of intimidation. Louisiana, Texas, South Carolina, Mississippi, and Florida passed laws that virtually prohibited freedmen from any work except as field hands.
They didn't say Alabama.
The laws were called Black Codes. The aim was slavery without the chain.
The Black Codes were laws passed to control and restrict and constrain the lives of the freed people, essentially rendering them
Out of love learning this in history instead of all that European bullshit.
Some states made it illegal for freedmen to handle weapons and restricted them from buying or renting land.
They look like Kareem.
Black children could be seized from poor families
Might be related.
and forced to work in the fields.
Could be.
If a black man had no job, he could be jailed and auctioned to a planter for his labor.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
They make a travesty
Auction,
of
that's
the
slavery.
freedom that African Americans have acquired. They are so far from any notion of fairness
Shit
or
like a
freedom
Muslim or something.
that even Northerners who are not egalitarians say these laws are unacceptable. And so Northern Republicans are faced with a dilemma. They don't want to have a big fight with the president, but to accept the idea that Johnson's policy is a success and accept the Black Codes, they feel means giving up the victory in the Civil War.
Yeah, they had already whacked Lincoln. March was shook.
Yeah.
To Louisiana's black veterans, one freedman offered this advice. I would say to every colored soldier,
Silverback,
bring your gun home.
How about pussy ass shit, man? You only got one life to live. Yeah. Yeah. So when we say, are they on code? That's pretty much the code. Oh, Dr. Gay said happy Cinco de Mayo. You remember he had a kilt on for, what was that? St. Patty's Day. So who knows what he's doing? He's probably got one of those sombreros on. He's enjoying life, which is, you guys will see, is part of our code that we're going to get in. Yeah, that we're going to get into here to close it out, you know, and that's important because, you know, you can't just have a life full of trauma.
Period.
That's not healthy. Trauma is going to, for men, it's going to lower your testosterone, you know, stress and trauma, you know, and that's not good. I mean, it leads to more medical, you know, issues. So All right, so we're going to go at the top 9, and we're going to start with number 9. So number 9 is each one teach one.
Absolutely.
At minimum, right?
Yeah.
At minimum, it's abhorrent for us to, at minimum, I'm not talking about your son or daughter, right? For each of us to teach one that may not, that may need a mentoring. They may have parents, but they may be, they maybe you're a music producer and they want to be into that business. You want to teach one, and then we have an issue of, well, my kids don't want to do what I'm into, and then that's it. We give up, right? But there's another kid who wants to do that, and then your kid is interested in something else, and then that's where we should be linking them up with silverbacks, like-minded silverbacks here, because if we sit here and go ahead, bro. No, go ahead.
I said that people that's working in the field that they want to be in with, it takes all kinds to raise a village. I got a little humming going on here.
That happened right, I think, after you got booted. I started hearing the humming, but I didn't hear it before. Or did I wasn't paying attention. So
I gotta get a new wire or something because this wire is does
playing out. Yeah. And then I would So Noop, the teach one, and the cats that almost everyone we interviewed has said that, the silverbacks, that they need to find someone that's doing what they do.
Yeah. And they mentor people that need it, that come to do what they want to do. So
yeah, they're open to it. And they said, do your research and come prepared and just don't come completely ignorant. I live that. My mom told me to come down here and carry down and but my dad with the what? You know what I mean?
Well, you have to have an interest, and for you to really, look for a proper mentor, you better have some interest.
I mean, anything, so if you're like, well, what kind of work are you looking for? Son, my dad told me to come down and work. I mean, what are you talking about? Washing windows? I mean, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I mean, come on, kid, you got to have something.
What we talking about? We talking about a kid that, he does music. He plays music now.
Correct.
Coming to talk to a producer, engineer.
Yes.
We're not talking about some, they got work over there. So you going over there. I need you to go over there. And you just tell them that you my boy.
Yes.
And to put you to work. Yeah, we're not, no.
Yeah.
That's not what we talking about.
We might have some things to do around here, and we can find some other things, but correct. Yeah. Try to send, please, not try, but send the boy down there that's interested in music. Correct. In that scenario. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, Self. Number 8. So number 9 is teach one. Number 8, lead from the front. Meaning, be a role model. We were just touching on that. Guidance / discipline for the children, not just yours, but everyone in the community. So we all have to be in alignment and lead from the front. So we've had all these things, the bottom ones, work on your craft, all of that, start a business. All of this is example, right? Yeah. So we're leading from the front by doing, as we've learned, that makes you a role model because they do what they see. And then the guidance and the discipline, we have to love our children enough to guide them, to teach one, and also to give them the discipline when they're on fuckery.
Yeah, and all the children of our community are our children.
They are, because guess what? That mindset is going to be wrapped in with your children anyway.
Period. They'd have to be.
So that's why this is changing a culture where they know that, hey, look, kid, that's not cool. It's no longer the cool kid that can pull out the pills and I got Jordans and pills and lean. First of all, if we're all doing this, we all got that. And you can't, you know what I mean? Then white supremacy won't be able to seduce our children with their little stuff because they'll have it and they'll have an understanding of the value of it or the lack thereof. But this is, we're just, this is it. So really, you can just really live off the top 10. We're going to start number 10, Self. Murder, suicide, and violence. Number 9, each one teach one. Number 8, lead from the front, meaning be a role model. Guide your children and the community's children. It takes a tribe. Discipline. Number 7, mind your business. Yeah. Now, this doesn't mean, man, close the window, shut up, you nosy lady. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about mind your craft. Again, whatever it is, self-love said you got to figure out what it is. And that's something we got to think towards self. How do we get kids there? And I think if they didn't have all this trauma and all this sugar and all this other stuff that we're discovering, they'll get here because their third eye won't be all messed up. You know what I'm saying? They'll be getting there more naturally than what we're allowing them.
All depends on the individual, because some, come in here and know
Correct.
exactly, and then, some don't. And
it could take a lifetime. Correct.
Yeah. And we just
because God's holding them for
something.
something.
We need to figure something in place that helps people realize their uniqueness and how to grow it so they can,
and how they can serve our community.
Yeah, how they supposed to bring it to the world. Like,
well, specifically how they can bring their unique, which is the world extended. Correct.
Right.
Correct. And if they, because everyone, we're like we're the cells of the body.
Yeah.
In Silverdale, every Silverdale citizen is a cell of the God of Silverdale, which is the whole community. So every person is representing Silverdale.
Yeah.
Wherever they go.
Of an organ, because that place is going to be a beacon.
Yes. And everybody's going to be representing that, and so it's going to be different of, where you from? Silverdale. What you folks are a brother. I'm from Silverdale. Right. You know what I mean? Right. You vice lord, you this and that, I'm from Silverdale. I'm a Silverback. Right. And then they'll start figuring it out. All right, here we go. Number 6, which is mind your business. Number 6, it's very important. Walk your path.
Yeah. That's right along with mind your business. Period.
Know yourself. It's right along with what sages have said since the dawn of time.
You walk in your path, you ain't got no time to be judging nobody else's. That's for sure. Or being focused on watching them. You might see the results, but if you walk in your path, that's all you'll see is the results. You don't see them making it or doing what they do. So, yeah.
If you're walking your path, you'll discover that you have less discretionary income for fuck shit.
And time.
Time is money and money is time. So you're right. That is correct. You will find very true. You won't have time for TV and 4-hour lives that me and Self Love are doing. You know what I'm saying? It's true though. It's true. All right, it's true. All right, here you go, Self. So walk your path. Number 5. This is number 5. We're getting up there. Forgive. And G is capital. Forgive. Yeah. That has to be taught. It has to be a focus. When a kid is you say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. You know what's more important than that? Forgive this child now that this child apologize. Correct. Truly forgive this child. Correct.
And everybody, from the young to the old, forgive yourself.
See, we always say everything starts with self, and thanks for acknowledging that.
Yeah, forgive yourself.
The Self Love Show.
That's right. It's stuff that you've done that you still are having a problem with.
That and stuff you haven't even done. Your dad might have been gone, or it wasn't your fault, right? Yeah. You might have been molested. That wasn't your fault. Yeah. Holding on to stuff. Unpack it. Yeah. God could take that. You put that in a little bowl and you throw it right in Yeshua's face, and Yeshua says, "Thank you. This is nothing." Right. All right. So forgive self. All right. Number 4. Be charitable. / break bread. See how high this is on the list? And so I'm thinking 3%. Now we're talking specifically Silverdale, right? And so there's a slush fund of 3% of all your income goes into just straight for charity. That's it. No questions asked charity. We don't want to hear I need tax bracket. Where's this money going? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. It's going to come down to we're all following this, and we're all going to not doubt one another's worthiness or truthfulness. We'll have oversight. Don't get me wrong. There'll be oversight. Self Love and I are big on that. You'll be able to go right on a computer, but still 3% is for charity. You have to walk it like we talk it. The reason we say 3% is because tithe are 10%. This will leave you 7% for any other type of charity you might want to do, or however much you want to do. But we're saying if you're not giving at least 3%, that's a number that I feel like anyone can do, and it won't put them back, much, right? So let's give a scenario. Let's say you're bringing home easy math, $1,000. You bring home $1,000 a week. So that's $4,000 a month. This Silverback is bringing. What's 3% of that? $120. Yeah. It's $120. You do that over 30 days. That's $4 a day, and you start to realize, oh, maybe I'll walk to the store and save that gallon's worth of gas. And there's that $4. You start to realize maybe I won't have that cup of Starbucks, and there's that $4. And you're doing charitable. But it's not my job to teach you how to think. Just throwing out some examples, right, Self? Charitables. Yeah. You know how far that would go in our community, and instead of saying, yeah, that kid's family don't feed them. Yeah. And he and she's got to go out and do all that on their own, and we have a fund for that, what that would even do for your homeostasis, right? So you shouldn't have to go to bed at night knowing that kid down the street, no. No. Okay.
I don't suspect that's happening in Silverdale, though.
Yeah.
We just take care of it. It wouldn't be.
Initially, it'll be there, and we'll have this fund for it. But you're right. Initially, it'll be there. But you're right. Long game, no. This 3% we'll be using for outside our community. Long game, yeah. We'll be using that 3% to now spread the love. Yep. Yes. Yep. Number 3, Self. We mentioned earlier. Enjoy life.
We got to have some fun. It's got to be some balance.
Got to enjoy the journey. I've heard this from every effective person that we've sat with. The whole life is a journey. So if you don't enjoy the journey, Self, you know what I'm talking about. You pledged, you look back on it all, the journey, right? Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to the one night when the journey, when you look back on it, you're like, damn, it was all about the journey. It just brought it to an apex or a crescendo. That's a big debate. I don't want Charlie Newman and Brother, they're still debating about where the crescendo is. Brother Hall and Charlie Newman. This debate's been going on for about 3 years. All right. So number 3 is enjoy life. Number 2, overcome fear/hate. Overcome fear/hate. I want to say face your fears, but fear is an illusion. So, and fear is an absence of love. And so anyone that hates you, we always said, so if the white man fears the black planet, fears the black man, that's why they do what they do, right? Or the pink man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes. So fear would have to be stamped out. It has to be, it's contagious, it's unproductive, it makes people sick. The whole concept of fear would have to be stamped out and rooted out of the child in the beta state.
Theta,
yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
First 7 years.
We don't talk fear. It's like snitches get stitches. I want when people come around talking fear, I want some sort of, ain't no fear here. You know what I mean? Some sort of, lingo that we ram that. And we don't do fear here. This is Silverdale, ain't no fear here, and they can rethink and try to find solutions or whatever it is, but we don't do that because fear is hate. Fear leads to hate. It leads to hate, which leads to posseing up, leads to robbery, leads to gangs, it leads to all of that. It does. The fear that I can't make it on my own, now I want to go sell poison to somebody's kids, Yeah, the fear. So we'll go through them because we're coming up to number 1. So I'll just run through them really quick. Number 25, assert your rights. Number 24, be brave. Be a silverback out here, a silverback hit. Number 23, be accountable. Hold yourself accountable and those around you accountable. Number 22, get active. Be active. Participate. Get your body moving. Stop being lazy. 21, be honest. Sometimes, the tooth hurts. You know what I mean? Don't be a truth fairy, Sometimes you just got to be tough love. Be honest. Honest to yourself, honest to others. Number 20, pay your brother and your sister fairly. Charge your brother and your sister fairly, for services rendered. Just stop all this, Stop all the cheapery with your brother and sister and the pettiness with your brother and sister. And then you go let it ride everywhere else and like to prove to white supremacy how you can afford everything and how it ain't nothing to you. But then you're looking for the homie hookup all the time. Stop it. All right. Support businesses that service our community, particularly the Black businesses. We're Black first, right? But if they're not there, just because a business is in your community does not mean that it's supporting your community. Again, just because a business is in your community does not mean that it supports your community. If that business is just extracting your dollar and taking your dollar out of the community, every penny of it, if there's a flower shop and it's owned by someone outside your community, even though the news is telling you to love these people, because we vibrate love on everyone. If that shower shop is never buying any food in your community, never buying anything from any other business in your community, then guess what? All of that money that we spend at that place of business is leaving our community. And that is a cycle of poverty and slavery. Number 18, start your own business that serves the community. Get in the game. Get in the game. Sell your own flowers. Number 17, recycle your money. Every dime we spend with a big corporation, they invest less than 1%. It's probably higher since George Floyd, and I just think it's a lie. But they invest less than 1% in the urban communities, period. We pump our money into 401k programs, and they pump less than 1% of that money into our community. Yeah. And then they tell you Madoff or somebody ran off with your money and took it all. And then nobody knew, man. Nobody knew about it. They took all my money. They took all their money. Where they supposed to get the money? Where they supposed to get the money to pay them retirees who worked their whole life, fought in the war for this country? Where they supposed to get it? Where they supposed to get it? They got to pay the banks, but they got to pay the banks, so they got to print up the money for the banks because the people won't have jobs. Same conversation, you know what I mean? And I'd be like, man, if I punch you, I'm wrong, right? But if they knew my grandfather, man, I'm talking about Crockett, Wardell Crockett, he'd punch the shit out of you. Yeah, make you think. You know what I mean? Rest up. All right, so now. Where were we? Recycle bread. Yes. Improve yourself in your craft every day. We've heard our elders and ancestors say the idle mind is Satan's workshop, and there's something to that, right? So, if you're thinking about your craft, you're less likely to be sitting around getting programmed either by negative peer pressure or, temptations, TV commercials, and TV programming in the radio. You got less idle time. Look at that. Hey, sir, you want to get the PlayStation 6? Is your PlayStation 6 out yet?
Hey, wait a minute. He talking about we can't listen to the radio?
Yeah.
We can't watch the TV.
With the radio.
Well, is that what you saying? Oh,
wait,
no, man.
Hold on. So we not listening to R. Kelly or Kanye West no more? I'm going to burn up to Kanye West. No.
I got to work on myself. Is that what he trying to tell me?
All right. We digress. Yes, but please, vote reparations, all right? We do not want to be brain wrestling politics any further with people, all right? If you guys want to put together stuff and get programs and have your own caucus or cockeye or cock, all right, and get programs or whatever, fine. We're not going to, Self Love and I are going to turn down any money. We're not going to do any of that. But what we're saying is it's reparations. Raise your kids, pro reparations, right? Self reparations all day, every day. That's what we're about, right? The home of reparations. You know what I mean? Right.
Let's not forget what happened.
That's right. Never forget.
What we're
Damn right. We might have a capital R ourselves in some of our t-shirts walking around. And that could be for recycled money. It could be for reparations. A lot of entendres in there. Huh? A lot of entendres. Had an R with the dollar symbol in it. You know what I'm talking about, Self? Instead of an S with the dollar? Yeah. Huh? Give away all my ideas on here and they still. All right, here we go, Self. Yeah. All right, here we go here, Self. Question everything is number 14, including this code.
Factual and factual.
And we've said you don't always have to openly question, thus dropping your gun when you come through the window, thus playing checkers, not chess, thus always allowing your open enemy to know that you can see, thus getting a big fat mark on your back. No, you can question everything internally, do your own research, draw your own conclusions, and you can choose to keep your truth to what? To yourself. It kind of violates our principles of teach one, right?
Oh, we teach inside the community.
Correct. But that's what we say about these principles. You got to know how to work them. Yeah. This is where Saturday school is going to come in. You know what I mean? You know, these kids are going to remember this stuff. All right. Where were we at? Was that teach one? No. We were on question everything. Yeah, including the code. Yeah. Do not answer questions outside of our community. Right? We expect you to answer the Silverbacks. God damn it. We do.
Yeah.
Expect you to answer truthfully and honestly, according to this code. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
And then we'll talk to 12 and the government. You know what I mean? We'll do all of that. Yeah. Be respectful at all times. Anything other than that can and will get you what? Some paws put on you. Facts. All right. Just because your parents don't want to do it has nothing to do with the community of Silverdale. That's tough.
Or the Silverback you disrespect.
Facts. If there's a big issue, then we have to cash out, pay the parents. And
it's a learning lesson.
Yeah. You guys are living in right. And if you're facts, and if your parents are living in Silverdale, if they're one of the 300, trust me, they're not going to have any problem with what? The teaching of it. Yeah. They probably would have raised you already where you probably would have been respectful and right. And it never would have happened. Yeah. Like-minded people. All right. No gavel. Now this is a tough one. No gavel, walk in anyone's shoes, walk in everyone's shoes before you take action. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once. So, you want to put on each one of those person's shoes before you react. Now, if it's self-defense and it's life or death, nobody's got time for that, right? You can do that after, you've neutralized the threat, right? Oh, that's terrible, right? You know what I mean? Right. Maybe we can use some of that 3%, pay for the doctor bills. This is the type of community we're building. Number 10, murder, but not your doctor bills, right? Because you'll be trained on how to defend yourself. Number 10, murder is suicide. We're going to put an end to violence. Correct, Self?
Yes.
Correct?
Facts.
It will stop. Yes. Bullets are boomerangs. Every bullet you shoot, there will be at least one bullet that comes back in your direction. These are principles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are universal principles. I mean, if anybody wants to constitute anything we're saying as some sort of a threat, no. These are universal principles. Yeah.
Goes around, comes around.
Facts.
Same thing.
Yeah. Snitches get stitches. People run around saying that all the time. Don't nobody say they're threatening people. You know what I mean? Right, Self? You hear that all the time. All right. Number 9. I mean, that's a threat. You know what I'm saying? That's a flat out threat. All right. Number 9. Teach one. Right? Let's stop hoarding the information. Please. We don't want you smug, though. All right. When teaching controlled environments and where people are seeking
in the community.
Yeah, and where they're seeking the information. Right. If you see something, you say something. Self's big on that. You know what I mean? We're not talking about snitching. You know, we're saying, you know, hey kid, you know, you might want to let that light change to green before you step out there. You know, that car almost hit you. You know what I mean? That's all. Yeah. All right. Lead from the front. Yeah. So if you're driving around throwing bottles out of your car and, you know, letting the blunt shavings out inside right on the ground and throwing paper out there, and you're a grown adult, then the children are going to do it.
Period.
Yeah.
Man.
And what was the quote, Self? If the kids don't, from yesterday, if the kids don't learn,
the men don't.
The adults don't know. Yeah. The men won't know. Yeah. If the boys don't learn, the men
won't know.
Won't know. Yeah. Facts. Number 7, mind your business. So that goes back to, you know, working on your craft. But mind your business. You need to be focusing on what your business is. And if you're an employee, you know, you can mind that too. You can be the best employee because we used to have that standard in our code. You remember that, Self?
Yeah.
If you're going to work at that factory, you're going to be the best at that. You know, we had to be. That was our standard. Mind your business. Learn your craft. If you're selling cars, do research on the information in the car. We have got to be better. Otherwise, we're just sitting around doing this.
What would they don't live in hip hop?
Anybody won't buy no car from me because I'm black.
Talking about?
It's because I'm black, they ain't gonna buy no car from me.
No, it's because you don't know what you're talking about. It's because nobody wants to sit there an extra 6 hours watching you try to figure out how to fill out an application, you know, that you've been doing for 6-7 years. It's because most effective people don't have time for that. You know what I mean? Do your research. You know, you go to a restaurant, Self, and you say, what's in the soup? I don't know. I ain't never had it. What? You haven't anticipated somebody asking you this question, and now you want a nice tip. You know what I mean? So, mind your business. And even while you're working for someone else, you probably have an idea for your dream job, right, Self? Or your dream business you want to run. So you're minding that as well. Right. And then, like Self said, now you're not in other people's business. And the baby mama, you see the baby daddy did the baby mama. You won't have time for love in hip hop.
Man.
Or energy. You'll cut it on for 1 second and you'll be like, oh my God, this is such a mind fuck. Won't you, Self? 3 seconds. Like, oh, a lot of stuff. All right. Now, walk your path. Now, here's a funny one. It's a philosophical one. Walk it. Forgive. We have to get stronger at forgiving. Forgiveness is the strongest form of valor. It's the highest form of love. It's the reason why our kids are killing each other because they haven't learned forgiveness. They're often being raised in households where one parent or both parents haven't forgiven one another. No one is forgiving anyone on the street. Forgiveness is seen as a sign of weakness. You know, letting go and letting God is a sign of weakness. And we have to completely get that turned around. And the heroes in our communities will be the ones who can, you know, take the high road. When they go low, we go high, as Michelle Obama says. I'm not talking about when pink people go low, we go high. That's a whole nother discussion. We're talking about a code amongst self. When they go low, you go high. All right? Forgive. Number 4, be charitable. Okay? Break bread. All right? Break bread. We get so used to saying no to the hustler standing out in front of the gas station. You know, those people hitting you up. You got some change. Standing there for 20 years, you know, getting tax-free change. I'm just trying to get me some noodles. I don't care what you're just trying to do. You know what I mean? And then I'm trying to vibrate love and I'm all in a messed up spot. So we're not necessarily talking about just them, though. what we're saying is be charitable. You know, you should be able to look at that guy and say, man, I gave at the office. But when you say that, it should be, the toot. You should be able to tell that gentleman, hey, come on down to such and such church where I give to that church or whatever, and they'll get you set up. They got a whole bag full of noodles, right? That way he won't be taking that money and buying himself some alcohol, liquor, and or drugs. Yeah. Number 3, enjoy life. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the struggle. Enjoy the highs. Self-love is left here. He'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Enjoy life.
You better.
Because he was trying to tell me about a permanence. Yeah. The next is a final permanence. The next plane you were saying, there's a permanence to that out there?
Not a complete permanence. You grow, you figure out if you're gonna experience a different life or another life, existence type of thing, but it's probably be a long time from now, because defracking your life takes time. It's not like on speed dial, ain't flying past you. You gotta reflect on a lot of stuff.
Number 2, face, overcome, ignore, whatever's going to work, fear, right? Which is synonymous with hate.
Well, it can't paralyze you. That's what, excuse me. Man.
No, that's correct, because fear has been used to fuel certain positive results.
Yeah. Like it can't paralyze you.
Right.
You have to do what you need to do anyway. So,
right.
That's how you get past it.
Right.
Is do what you got to do anyway, even though you got some feeling or whatever it is. You say, "Oh shit, that's right. I got to do this anyway."
Man.
Bam, and then
I am greater than my excuse.
Yes.
Facts. And number 1, Self, take a stab at it. You take a stab at the number 1 rule of the code that we say every day on the show. It's contained in the show's name.
Self-love.
That's right. Vibrate love.
Yeah, vibrate self-love, which vibrates all love.
Well, it starts with self.
Love.
Correct.
Love. Yes.
Correct. And then you vibrate that inner self-love. You vibrate that outward. Correct. Now, if you hate yourself, which means you fear yourself because you don't know yourself, that means you're going to be vibrating what? Hate outwards. Yeah.
I'm a target out there.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. And you become a target. So, yes, that's the code that we've come up with. Top 25 out there. It's fluid. Right?
Yeah, and like you said, that you're doing the top 10. A lot of the rest of them just fall into place.
Facts.
Like I said, they're all equally important.
Facts. They are, bro. But if you start with number 1, if you just did number 1, vibrate love. See, the rest of them are kind of a breakdown of what vibration of love is. But if you just did number 1, but you'd have to have an understanding of what love is. And if if you never had that vibrated a certain way, you don't know what it is. And when you receive it, you perceive that as hate. You get afraid of it, So yeah, if you just vibrate love, bro, and, don't move with fear, enjoy life. You're not going to be killed. If you're vibrating love, not moving with fear and enjoying your life, you're not going to be out here shooting people and, killing yourself with, poisons and things of this nature, right? You're not.
Facts.
You're not. if you're charitable, nobody's going to be shooting at you. I mean, it's rare. You know, you'll hear the rare cases with self-love, and I don't want to talk about, oh, it's terrible. And that's God using you as you know, as an impetus for something else. But you hear a rare case, oh, this person was perfect, never did anything, was out there doing charity and caught a bullet. Yes, that happens. But for the most part, if you do these top 4 things, you won't really have enemies. You won't.
Yeah, we won't really have to worry about that in Silverdale as much in the greater area, because that was on one of the videos, the Black Code, the people that are inspiring people and all that, you know, that come up dead. You know what I mean? It happens now. It never stopped happening. You know,
Never stopped happening.
It's a culling of the Silverbacks.
Top. Correct. The alpha males. Yep.
Yeah.
Even the ones self that get to the top of a gang enterprise, so-called, you know, they strip all that up and they start feeding it. You know, you can name them. They start feeding the community and doing stuff with the money. Oh, they break that right up and go find them. Yeah, that's what they do. So yeah, so I'm not going to go back through them all again because that would be redundant. But yeah, and so yeah, so but just those top 10. So then now, self, if you're charitable and you're forgiving people and you're walking your path, just minding your business, right? And just doing all of that. Lead from the front is just doing all of that. There's nothing else. Number 8 is just doing the top 7, right? And then teach other ones, you know, teach one. And then number 10, murder, suicide, you know, and violence. I mean, if we just did those top 10, we would be able to live in a community with no trauma. And I think I've heard you say, you know, when people are worried about trauma and where the next meal is coming from and all of that, they can't think of creative fractaling.
Can't expand.
No. You can't solve those mathematical equations that teacher is telling you to do when you get home.
And something that, I don't know, something we need to help with the trauma, deal with the trauma. I don't know where that fits in, but
wow,
dealing with the trauma, helping dealing with the trauma.
Oh, there it is.
Because that has to be part of the, you know what I mean, healing the trauma. Because we're gonna have people coming in from outside.
Well, it's gonna be people already there too.
Yeah. Now, well, that's initially, and then once we do that, when new people come in, then we're gonna it's gonna be a whole process the whole time.
Yeah.
That would help. That would definitely help.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like some sort of yoga or working out or something like that. Yeah. Have an outlet for the trauma. Have, you know, establish an outlet for your trauma, for the trauma. I mean, everybody's gonna have trauma. Even if you're in a perfect society, something's happening, you know, they'd be like
somebody that they talk to, some, you know, people that are gifted in that healing type of, you know, talking, you know, people listening to people and helping them and healing them. We need that type of situation as well.
Yeah, we used to have that. You know, it was a priest or it was a, you know what I mean? But yeah, you're right. You're right. Need to promote that as well too, as opposed to the taboo and the stigma that's been attached to it.
Yeah.
Right. Have the counselors and yes, and the teachers are more proactive, you know. Right. Don't put the kid and the child in necessarily LD classes, but you can send the child to counseling and, you know, right. And then they can figure out, you know what I mean? If the child needs to now talk to someone else with a higher PhD or something like that. And that's where that 3% money can start coming in. So, and that can be used for legal funds too, for people who got themselves in trouble or caught themselves a case. And, you know, we need to be able to defend. We need to be able to feel like we can get us a good defense and not have to take. The only reason somebody took a plea is because they didn't want to sit in the county jail, you know, for God knows how long. And then they didn't want to face whatever they were looking at because of, you know, a horrible criminal defense. Yeah. So that's where that kind of money could be used from. So, yeah, man. Yeah. So I think we unpacked that. What else? I know you added dealing with the Barack trauma.
That just came to me while we were talking about when you were breaking down the top 10.
Yeah.
And you know, we got to deal with the trauma, man. It's hard to move forward and build.
You're right, because we got so much trauma.
Foundation from
Correct.
From a broken foundation. You keep building on a broken foundation, your house is just gonna break apart.
Yeah.
So we gotta try to deal with the trauma that's, you know, kind of part of our DNA. Like,
well, the trauma, I think we you know, it depends on if we want to use this Western nonsense or if we want to use, you know, like again, you know, if these people are doing yoga and if we got stuff set up where they're doing, you know, martial arts and people, these people are really teaching them if they're active and participating, you know, we should have things that, you know, try this, try that, you know, try meditation. But again, this is just me talking, but you're right. It's got to be a whole package
I was speaking more like people that have a gift for that, like me, like, you know what I mean? And
you mean not necessarily they went to school route. They could have though. They could have done both. Right.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I got what you're saying. That are truly,
yes,
that can truly send those people.
Yes.
To the find it. Yes, I got you. What do you call them? They're sensitive to
empath.
Yes.
I'm empath.
Yes. Yeah, I think I'm the overseer is too. Yeah.
And it's a gift. You know, and it's more than just empaths that have the gift to be able to talk to people and, you know, help them through situations. And
the root of that is empathy. It's empathy. Go ahead though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm see myself in a position like
being able to walk in their shoes, which is in here.
And sometimes I like feel their position. I feel how they feeling. Like
that's the difference. You can actually feel it.
Yeah, I feel how they're feeling, and it's like not good. And I'm like, okay, what's you know, you all right? You know,
like
what I mean?
You watching George Floyd, you literally,
oh man,
feeling that. Right.
Yeah, that made me sick. That taught me a valuable lesson though. That I would not stand for that. Those other cops.
Yeah, I remember you were saying that, man.
Like I would not. I watched the video, but I would not watch that live. Like now, after I watched the video, I know how I'll react. Like you know what I mean. I didn't know how I would react, but I knew now.
But Floyd would be alive, you would be dead, and they'd be spinning you as the madman.
Yeah,
the madman who wasn't police's business. He was never gonna die. We do this all the time because you remember Chauvin had actually did that to a shorty, a 14-year-old. Did the same thing. The mom. See, this is what we're gonna unpack when we do the Willie Lynch, our women. You know, we're going to do a show for our men, but our women. So the women couldn't control the 14, 16-year-old, whatever. It was a 14-year-old and like a 12-year-old. They were black.
She called the police.
Yeah, she thinks it's like TV. Man. And Chauvin shows up. And Chauvin rolled it up, Chauvin rolled it up. Now, Prado was trying to tell me this. I cut him off. You know me, I don't be listening. I thought he was talking about the case where Chauvin broke into the bathroom on a domestic dispute. 21-year-old black man, unarmed, was so scared by the way they busted in, consistent with every story, he locked himself in the bathroom himself. Chauvin kicked the door in, claimed the dude went for his gun, shot dude, tore it up. He didn't kill him, but yeah, dude got some sort of settlement. This was years ago. Chauvin's still on the job.
Yeah.
3 years ago, he did that to the 14-year-old. So she calls him. They said, so his story was the way he wrote it up. I was like, well, you know, I still was against it because it was a 14-year-old boy and the mom called just for, you know why the mom called?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, as a cop, I mean, come on, the mom's not trying to, get you wrestling the kid. But anyway, so that's why the police got to have community people that show up to that. You know, they don't dispatch Derek Chauvin, who you know probably is insensitive with black people, to that, right? You don't.
No,
you know, no. So
you don't have him training anybody,
and that's what he was doing.
And he got to be 3 strikes you off at least. You know, most time 1 strike. The stuff he did, you know, he should have never got. He should have never been there. Yes,
when he shot that 21-year-old, that was why he should have been fired. Then, yeah.
Everywhere though,
and the 21,
not just, you know, they got to get rid of these people everywhere. They can't just let them go to the next county or the next state or the next.
Yeah, they lose their license.
Period.
So now Chauvin, bro, This guy. So now the 14-year-old, he came right in there, and the 14, he just came right in there and said something like, he gave him an order. I gave him an order real quick. Real quick. Didn't get a kid no time to react. And then just started hitting him with the flashlight, hitting him hard in the head with the flashlight. And knocked the boy unconscious with the flashlight. The boy's unconscious. The mom is screaming, please, no, stop doing this to my son. Then put his knee, then did the George Floyd to the 14-year-old boy. The 14-year-old boy, I guess, since he wasn't 50-something years old and didn't have a history, I'm going to go white supremacy, of using drugs and didn't have a life of trauma, and his heart wasn't weak. I mean, this is fact. His heart wasn't weak because he's younger. You know what I mean? So the boy came back, woke up from getting knocked out with this man's knee on his neck and his mom screaming, and he's saying, I can't breathe. Dude took his knee off his neck, but put it in his back, the 14-year-old's back, for 17 minutes. 17 minutes in front of the boy's mom. I hope the mom learned a lesson. I hope she's out here listening for 17 minutes, right? And then didn't get off until paramedics came. So that's his thing. I'm going to stick my knee into these people until the paramedics come. That was his thing.
Yeah, that's sickening.
That he had a record of that and was still on the street.
He was the training officer.
Yeah.
On that scene.
Yeah. Yes. But that'll be a lesson to you moms. Calling 12 on 14-year-old black boys, talking about you can't control them and they're out of control. That is a dog whistle to white supremacy.
Man. Especially that dude.
Chauvin.
DC. I don't like to speak these people's names, you know.
And we need to make a horror film about cops like himself. You know what I mean? It'd be like Jaws. Dun, 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 dun. When he show up, dun, 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 dun. Hey, I'm getting pulled over. Your grandmother getting pulled over. So, dun, 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 dun. Hey, but I didn't know you were behind me. I mean, nobody's ever pulled me over. Hey, so if we be in a movie, don't pull over. We be in a movie, don't stop. She's stupid. Why is she stopping? You know, they don't know it's Derek Chauvin. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Yeah.
You don't know who it is, bro. The Marine. Was he a Marine? Army.
I know he's second lieutenant. Yeah.
But yeah, that guy, I mean, you know, the
dun.
Black chick didn't know. He's like, what's going on? You know what I mean? I was actually, you know, didn't want to pull over in the dark anywhere in the middle of here because
I wanted a light for these cameras. Correct.
Man.
Right. Especially he didn't know why they was pulling him over.
Man, it was nonsense.
Man.
He knew.
Hey, but production, we got one last video. This is kind of about the code. It's the talk. It's a 2-minute video. It's from canned bowl morsels, but it's PG&E. You can go ahead and run that when you want. And then we'll be wrapping it up.
Who said that?
The lady at the store.
That is not a compliment.
Listen, it's an ugly, nasty word, and you are going to hear it. Nothing I can do about that. But you are not going to let that word hurt you.
Even him playing this role, he's sitting there like, man, are we acting?
There are some people who think you don't deserve the same privileges just because of what you look like. It's not fair. It's not.
These kids are processing this for real.
Remember, you can do anything they can. Difference is you gotta work twice as hard and be twice as smart.
Get them on code.
Come straight home after practice. You got your ID?
Got your ID. Look
In case they stop you.
In case they stop you, you just give up your rights. I ain't gonna teach you your rights.
How's your review?
Make sure you
good.
got your
Good.
ID.
You see?
We're good.
Okay. Good. Now, when you get pulled over,
I'm a good driver. Okay?
baby,
Don't worry.
this is not about you getting a ticket. This is about you not coming home.
Man.
I'm gonna be okay. Right?
Oh, there's fear.
Okay.
That'd be courageous.
It's not fair. But you keep showing up.
You are not pretty for a black girl. You are beautiful, period. Okay? Don't ever forget that.
Man, you know, the alt-right, when that commercial dropped, maybe like 2 years ago initially, the alt-right was up in the air and they wanted to cancel PG&E, and then they realized, wait a minute, they're huge. Like, we can't cancel PG&E, you know what I mean? Somebody told them, motherfuckers, y'all, like, you know what I mean? Do you know who we are? We're big corporate. But it was a big thing. But then George Floyd and all that happened, and now everybody likes the commercial. Go figure.
Okay.
But that was a lot of code in there.
Yeah.
What's that, new?
Real talk, Dan, and, you know, still applicable. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Part of the controversy from the black community on that, and I think that was just for women, but you notice how that code was all women talking to the kids,
Yeah.
which is what's important why we're going to do the Willie Lynch show, talking to our women. Right?
Yep.
Just what are you feeding these kids? You can feed these kids, but you see the one, you can't let your kid roll off with fear like that. You know what I mean? Hell no, you ain't going to die. You know what I mean? You're going to be good. You're blessed, you know? I'm just telling you, and when you assert your rights, you're going to be fine, and you're going to get a bag of money. Right. You can't let your kids out of the car or in the world. This is what you said yesterday, Self, before you even saw this. You were like, yeah, some kids get scared when you tell them that. Yeah. Yeah. If you tell them some white kids are bullies, it backfires, and then they get in that locker room and the white kids bully them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When before, if it was just organic, the first bully that walked up to him, your kid might have just naturally popped him in his eye if there was never even discussion about it. You know? But yeah, man, that's fight or flight, bro.
Man, it's a lot in this world that our little people don't understand because their experience has been completely whitewashed.
Man, well, let's roll this into Wordsmith's final words, bro. Let's just go ahead and roll this into Wordsmith's final words. And tomorrow we got Mouthpiece included. And next week we got my man, the Chicago kid, Scooter. Scooter, the kid from Chicago. Scooter.
That's gonna be dope.
Yes, sir.
So, Wordsmith final words. It's been a deep show. But there's so much that our little people don't know because their experience, it really doesn't show what happened to me or you when you were young. Most young people think old people are dumb. But man, I ain't old. I'm wise. I age like wine. That's why I can tell you what's going to happen if you don't listen to the lines. You got to stay on code. You got to learn it. You got to grow in it. You got to expand it when necessary. The only way we can do this is together. We have to form this community. We have to pull this unity. We have to. And I need you to do your part. Be the